phone.
Yes.
I got to tell you a story. A year after we were first organized, a young girl from Mequon, Wisconsin, who went to Homestead High School in Milwaukee. Her name was Annie Jorgensen. She won the Miss High School America pageant in Florida. And it's a real pageant with 50 other states competing. Their pageant director said, when you go home, try and find an anti-bully organization to pair up with and be their speaker, or offer to be their speaker, because their platform was creating a respectful environment in schools. She and her daughter spent about 6 weeks looking up on the internet and all over. We weren't big enough to be showing up on the internet. Nobody answered the phone, and nobody got back in touch with them. I don't care if you're dealing with a multi-million-dollar organization like Stomp Out or whatever. You would think that they would say, hey, we'd love to have this young girl who's a senior be a spokesperson for us for a whole year free of charge. They found out about our group and called us up. We met with them 2 days later because we answered the phone, and we met with their pageant a week after that and signed an agreement with their pageant. After the year that Annie spent with us, she talked to thousands of kids in hundreds of classrooms and all the various events that we had. Generations Against Bullying was invited to the next pageant where she was going to give up her crown. We hosted an award that we made for her. It was one of those plexiglass flames. And the pageant director saw that and said, wow, would a Generations Against Bullying representative come down to Florida and present that award to Annie live during our pageant? And we were the only outside organization that they have ever invited into the pageant to do anything. I went down. I was lucky to go down to Florida. And really, it was one of those stages that I wasn't used to because the lights were so bright, I could see nobody in the audience. Nobody. So, you're kind of like talking into a black void. Although when you say things, you hear people respond out there. There's somebody out there. Yes.
Or you're hallucinating.
Yeah, or you're
hallucinating.
So it was really, in fact, I did good enough job that it was bringing tears to my eyes, and it brought tears to the moderators, the MC's eyes, and she had to take a few minutes afterward to take a pause and say, hey, that was really powerful, and dab her eyes, and away they went again. So we're a small organization. We want to be a big organization eventually, but we want to keep that small organization atmosphere to be able to reach out and not be somebody who doesn't answer the phone because we are so important about what we do. We don't need to answer the phone, So we do answer the phone, and that's unusual. So, any questions? Anything? Let us know how we can help you out there. If you've got an organization or whatever, let us know. We'll see if we can find that time to do that to help you out. Is anybody from out of state? Where are we all from?
Ohio, sir. Missouri.
Missouri. Ohio. Illinois. Anybody else? Illinois. Okay. Well, welcome.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah, that's right. And, well, he's Luke's dad. That's
okay.
So, thank you for taking time to come up and listen to us. This is a wonderful event. As Michael said, he comes here because he gets energy from it. I get energy from it. It's a friendship event. And I was lucky enough because we're the recipient, so I get to go wherever I want with this. So I went into where they had the guest of honor panel today, and were any of you in there? Yeah. What fun! Oh my gosh! They had somebody wrote up a skit, a program, an actual script, and it was so much fun listening to them. So I feel lucky that I was able to attend that. So we appreciate. I'll say it one more time. We really do appreciate your help. We appreciate more your friendship. It means a lot to us. So thank you. We'll leave it at that.
Should you know any questions? Questions are important.
No dumb questions. We're good. Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for taking some pictures for me. Because our executive director, Linda Lee, you probably know, she had a knee replaced a little over 6 months ago, and it went well. Usually they don't replace, a little over 3 months ago. Usually they don't replace the second knee until 6 months out. They replaced it 3 months to the day. So she's only 2 weeks into that new knee, and she's got an awful lot of pain. But she hopes to be here this afternoon, and she sure will be here for the auction. Her daughter's swimming in the conference meet today, and that was important for her to go watch her daughter swim in that meet. A lot on the line, and so that's what she's doing. And then she feels so bad that she couldn't be here for the opening and for today, and hopefully she'll maybe make it yet later this afternoon. But I think she just texted me and said she's heading to the urgent care because the pain's so bad. She needs a little bit bigger, heavier medication, and they'll give it to her there. So, but she's doing really well. I think this knee will go faster than the other one. She's walking without a cane, without a walker, without anything. She's walking around. So that walking around puts a lot of pressure on her. And with the 5 student assemblies we've done in the last few days, we talked to over 3,000 kids. She was on her leg too much, so she'll be here. She really wants to see you guys. She's all excited, and so when she comes, you'll recognize her. She's the blonde, and I think she'll wear her Generations Against Bullying T-shirt. So please stop in by the booth if she's there. Stop in by the booth anyhow and talk to the people that we have there. So thank you very much.
Yay!
4 kilobytes of audio information that they could use. So literally the bass could be limited to just like 4 notes that it could actually play, like Pokemon music. The reason it sounds like it does is because he was making the most of like 3, even just 3 notes.
Yeah.
And it's just, that blows my mind. But it's so great in a lot of ways because there was that limitation. And sometimes, going back to exploration, and that's why I said I started with a theme of dark, because that was the limitation. Because if you just start with, I want to create, if you just have carte blanche, like there's...
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's
So-
amazing that one word says so much.
Right.
Like the implications behind like just the word dark. I'm going to use something dark. Like you've eliminated a huge amount,
Right.
but you've allowed yourself like a really cool
workspace.
space to work in. Yeah.
And stuff like that. So that's why, but that's why when you said that, I'm like, ooh.
Well, there's a reason why I've been so quiet. It's because I'm not actually a musician, so the whole composition area doesn't really apply to me. But I am much more of a director and an organizer. So when I make the compilation albums, so I've got to take X amount of songs, and then you narrow it down to the songs that can make it on the album, and then you look at this list and you're like, now I've got to make it actually flow from one to the next, and it's all about the pacing and making one gel to the next, and knowing, oh, this genre can work with this, which can lead into that, so that you're not just instantly going from a light orchestral into some heavy rock metal.
I think that same concept applies to when you're putting together the soundtrack for a film, doesn't it? Or do they already have an idea of what they want before you go into it? They're like, we want a tango number, we want a villain song, we want this, we want this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think so. And I don't think that's like. And there's an easy answer to that because, like on the Pony movie, it was very much like, oh, let's have a bunch of different kinds of songs.
Do they give them like carte blanche for that, or?
Yeah, we discussed each one in advance. Like we thought, like, oh, it would be fun to have like a tango for Capper, Like that was just a creative discussion. But I think maybe I think sometimes that can be a strength, in the case of. I don't know, like a show, for me, like a show like Little Pet Shop, every song was kind of a different style, and that was kind of what it was about. But it can also be a weakness if you lose a sense of cohesiveness, And because, like in Disney movies, you tend to have like the songs are a range of emotions, but they still all fit within the movie, right? So I think that there's a challenge where you want to where do you you have to find that balance between variety and still making sense. No.
I think you guys did a really good job of that inside the movie, too.
I don't know. I feel like it kind of went a little skew.
Where? That's interesting.
That sounds like a writer's problem.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, the opening song, We Got the Beat, used to be an orchestral choir song that I had written. that, no, this is just, that's fine, but very last minute, like in the final mix, it was like, oh, let's replace this, like after it all been animated, with like a pop song instead.
Okay.
You know, and then so like, where does We Got the Beef fit in this movie? Like, it just made no sense to me. Like, you know, but that's those kind of decisions. Whereas like the original kind of suite of songs had more flow. The second song in the movie, or the first song I wrote, I guess I think it's the second song, but the We Got This song used to be a totally different thing. It was like a 7-minute long introduction to all the characters in this big musical theater like thing, and you kind of go from one to the other. And it set up like a different kind of emotion for the movie. And then that got changed because it was like the very last minute, like, oh, we need something much more high energy, right? So, in the sense of the movie, for me, like the original flow of songs, the Pinkie Pie song in the movie was also a totally different song before. It was a more heartfelt song, like more like Smile song, and then later on, it was like, oh, this movie needs more like super happy songs. So like there's this thing where what I felt like was a cohesive emotional range became like a little bit disjointed.
Yeah.
Like I don't. For them, like they're critical, but I don't feel like I listened through it and feel like the songs kind of flow together in a really cool, in a way that makes a lot of sense to me at this stage, you know, at this point. But I did the best I could with the instructions I was given.
I guess it's valuable to know your limitations for stuff like that too. Like you mentioned Smile Song, it just made me think back when I did the Massive Smile project. I remember you had sent out something that's like, "What is this? How can I help?" And like Equestria Daily lost their minds on it. They're like, Daniel Ingram, interested in the Smile Project. I'm like, At that point we were at like 90% completion. We had like almost everybody's vocals in. We had the whole track that was put together. I'm like,
I remember.
I don't know.
This is all the people singing. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
this was the choir where we had like 113 people online or something like that submitted in for it, and a whole bunch of soloists that were members of the fandom in the day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Big musicians.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, it's like for something like that, if they were to come to you and be like, hey, I know you already have this song written, but can we get like X celebrity to come in and do a part in it, or like it's kind of one of those weird things.
The rewrite.
It's like, yeah, that would sound awesome, but how do we work with, how do we incorporate that in such a way that it doesn't disturb the entire piece?
Well, this is the difference between writing for your own brand and writing for someone else's brand. And so, like, and it's funny, even in like, I mean, even in a movie like something like Star is Born, how she has kind of discovers her sound, but they kind of, I don't know if we've seen that movie, but she gets kind of put in a particular direction by her agents or whatever, her marketing team. Is like, your creative process is very much this. I think the creative process is the same, but what changes is now you do sometimes have people telling you what the end result should be like, and how do you even navigate that? From most of us start, obviously no one just starts famous, like you start by writing for yourself for pleasure, and how does that creative process then work when you become more and more like as a business and people, and you're working for a client? And I think that's a whole nother conversation. I don't know if we want to have it or not.
I know when we're doing the album compilation albums, we like to give a prompt to people just so that we can say, look, here's a good starting point, and we give them something like, a word or a theme, particularly if it's like a Christmas album, then that's already the theme. But if it's something in the middle of the year or whatever, we'll actually say, right, here's something to get you started off in, and then let them develop it from that.
Yeah, that idea of that initial limitation is super important.
There's nothing worse than sitting down and going, I want to create something, and I have no idea what.
The scariest thing in the world is the blank page.
For me, from I guess the business side, because we don't have to get too deep into it, but I'm just saying, like, if you like writing songs, and you can, part of that early process, just to kind of go back to it, I've done this just in a couple of different bands I've been in. I would write a song that I'm like, well, I don't think it would fit this project, but I'm gonna keep this for myself, because, and then you can always have that part of your heart that is kind of away. And I know like a lot of artists who are in the pop world or whatever kind of do that, because